Welcome new pirates and welcome to the ECU Live series as part of ECU New Student Orientation. My name is Jamie Weiser and I'm from the Office of Student Transitions. Today, our session will cover the multicultural student experience at ECU. This session will be recorded and will be archived and available on the official ECU YouTube channel in a few days. In order to make sure that we are following accessibility guidelines, the archived recorded session will be closed captioned. If further accommodations are required, please contact the Office of Disability Services. Today, we have an excellent group of pirates here who are going to share their experiences with you. We're going to start with some general questions and then open the floor to any questions that you all may have. So first, if you all could just start by introducing yourselves and also tell us a little bit about why you chose to either attend or work at ECU.
I can go ahead and go first. So, hello everyone, my name is Justice Beverly. I am a orientation assistant with the Office of Student Transitions. I am from Tappahannock, Virginia, and I'm a sophomore majoring in psychology with a minor in composite natural science. The reason why I chose to attend ECU was because it sounds a bit corny, but it was about halfway through my senior year of high school. I didn't exactly know where I wanted to go, and I thought, hey, why not apply to ECU and see what they say? Without truly realizing that not only was ECU very inclusive, but they were very diverse as far as the student body was concerned. And seeing how diverse that was, it kind of inspired me to be a part of that inclusive community and just see different walks of life, and not just from the physical standpoint, but from the, like I said, the background kind of portion about that too.
Okay, I can go next. So, hey everyone, my name is Shyla Fitzhugh. I am a senior majoring in social work with a minor in gerontology. I'm from Ahoskie, North Carolina. This is my second year being an orientation assistant, and I pretty much chose ECU. It wasn't like my top 5 choices, but just by going on the tour, it just felt like so homey. And then it also worked out that it was only like 45 minutes away from home, and I'm very family oriented. So coming to ECU, it just became like my home away from home. I, made my own family and everything, even before coming on campus. So I just knew that ECU was the place for me.
Well, I'm Felicia Bridgers, and I'm a staff counselor here at ECU in the counseling center. Um, I've always worked in the community college system, and I'm from Greenville originally. Then I went away to go to college and grad school. And so when I returned back to Eastern North Carolina, ECU was on my goal list. So I was like, if I could just land a job working in the counseling center at ECU, just because I enjoy working with community college students, but I was ready for that 4-year institution experience, and it worked out in the right timing. And so I'm officially a pirate for real. Even though I was born and raised in Greenville, I can honestly wear the colors proudly now, with me being an employee here. So that's how I ended up here at ECU.
Hi, so my name is Shantan. Hi, and I serve as the Associate Director for the Ladonia Ray Cultural Center. I got my start at ECU because I wanted to move to North Carolina, and I was really excited for the chance to work in the Cultural Center. I am, if you can't hear the accent, I am not from North Carolina. I am originally from Michigan, and yes, I do use my hand to demonstrate where I'm from all the time. So the fact that during my interview process, it was so warm and inviting, and the chance to really work with multicultural students from underrepresented racial and religious backgrounds is what really appealed to me and what drew me to ECU.
Thank you all for sharing. So my next question is, what reservations, if any, did you have prior to starting at ECU, whether as a student or a staff member?
I'll go first. Just as a staff member, like I said, I was born and raised in Greenville, but I was not a part of the culture of ECU. So I was very nervous about being immersed in the pirate land, and bleeding that purple and gold. I just didn't know how that experience would be because, believe it or not, I just never traveled on campus. I always drove right around it. And so just being able to connect with the students and just feeling as though I'm a part of that community. And I will say that immediately my coworkers and other colleagues that I've met on campus, including the students, made me feel very welcome. Like Sean said, during the interview process, I was like, oh yes, this is home. This is definitely where I'm supposed to be. And that matters a lot. So I did have the reservation of feeling as though would I connect and would I feel as though I'm a part of the community? And then that was eliminated very quickly.
Okay, so I'll answer it. The only major reservation that I pretty much had about coming to ECU, it kind of applied to all schools that I was applying to and thinking about, just because like I am a first generation college student. So it was just like how do you tackle on this new experience, or like how do you find your way, where you are and things like that. And I think that's another thing that stood out a lot about ECU was with orientation and just going on tours, everyone was so informative about different resources that you can use if this happened. Like, so once I took the step of going on tours and orientation and everything like that, it was already so many resources that it was like, there's no way that I can possibly mess this up or get lost, on my path. So I think that was just probably the only thing, just being nervous about like the whole new experience and new feeling.
I think I'm kind of adding on to what Felicia said. I was kind of nervous about being able to adapt in a college culture, more specifically being a multicultural student going to a PWI. Because back during senior year of high school, I was very self-conscious about how I looked to other people, like how would other people look at me and see me as a person versus what my color looks like. So I guess the harder part about it was being able to adapt to that kind of environment when you might not look different from everybody else, but you're different. But setting foot onto ECU's campus and seeing how welcoming everybody was, and not really taking in regard, what you look like or where you come from. You're always a pirate. You'll always be a pirate. So that kind of eased my reservation and a little bit of my nervousness as well.
For me, mine was really simple: hurricanes. I was not prepared for that. I'm from Michigan, we don't have those, so that was my biggest reservation.
What has been your favorite pirate moment?
Okay, so I would have to say that my favorite pirate moment was definitely my very first football game as a student. Because, like, being in the boneyard is totally different from just, okay, we're going to go to an ECU game this weekend and, grab some tickets. It was just like the energy, the excitement, the like togetherness, if that's a word. It was just so amazing and overwhelming in a good way. Like, it was just so much fun, so much positivity. We didn't win, but that didn't matter because we were just all in this one big area and Greenville was shut down for the football game, and it was just amazing.
I might get a whole bunch of side faces, but for me, my personal favorite pirate moment has been my first final. See, that's exactly what I was talking about. Let me explain. So the reason why I say my first final is because one, I had never taken a college final before, and being as stubborn as I am, I was like, I'm going to ace this. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. I didn't do so hot on my first final, and what it opened to me was one, college is always about, changing some of your habits and changing some of the things that you are as a person, not necessarily as a bad thing, but more of as a way to improve yourself. And that's something that every incoming freshman should know is, you're not going to ace that first final. You're not going to, do great on every single assignment. It's a process.
Well, last semester was my first semester here at ECU, and I will say I attended a evening session called We Gather with my colleague Maya, and basically We Gather was a dinner series for African American women across campus to come together to talk about various topics that they face while attending the PWI. And I think when my coworker Maya stood up and said, "This is my new counselor in the counseling center," and all of the ladies was like, "Oh my God, we got another Black counselor." I mean, it just made me feel, so happy, and to just see, first of all, that my coworker made me feel so welcome, but at that same moment, to just feel like I connected with all the ladies in that room immediately. That was just like, yes, you're definitely supposed to be here, and there's definitely a place for you here. So I think that was definitely thus far my favorite pirate moment.
For me, my favorite pirate moment would have to be when we opened our center in the new main campus student center in the new building. We had a lot of people that knew LaDonia Wright, who our center is named after, who was a professor at ECU, and she's passed, and her son came down, and it was a really touching experience to meet a lot of folks who are former alumni who the center means so much. Plus, our new space is gorgeous, so let's not shortchange that. So yeah, that has to be one of my favorite pirate moments because it was just a chance to celebrate the center and what it stands for.
What would you say is your favorite ECU tradition? Because I know that freshmen, that's something that they want to get involved in, is attending those traditions throughout their 4 years. What has been your favorite tradition?
Well, I love purple's my favorite color, so I get to wear it every Friday now. So I'm good. Yeah.
Say for me, it's a cross between our Culture Fest program that we do in the spring semester, which has traditionally had a lot of food and performances by the different cultural organizations, and then the African Student Union's culture. Wait, ours is Culture Fest. Theirs is Cultural Extravaganza, I think is what theirs is called, and it's just amazing performances. It's kind of like a pageant, and so that's typically also done in the spring semester. So it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so I'm actually torn between like the homecoming week of experiences and polar plunge. Yes, I'm one of those crazy ones that jumps into the freezing cold pool. I've done it freshman, sophomore. I didn't do it junior year, but yes, it's between those two. And I definitely recommend everyone to do polar plunge at least once. You will be cold, but the t-shirt is amazing. And if you get there early, you get a free teddy bear.
I've always been fascinated by students jumping in water for a t-shirt. Like or just doing anything for a free t-shirt. I'm just so.
Come away for free. You don't have to jump in cold water.
I probably would say the polar plunge too. And I think when I did it this past semester for the first time, and people asked me how it felt, I was like, it wasn't cold. To me, at least, it wasn't cold because I think a few years ago, I was being adventurous, and I decided to take an ice bath and dump buckets of ice over my head every 2 minutes for 10 minutes. And so I guess that kind of taught my body to kind of build resistance to the cold. And I guess that kind of explains why I like to live in the cold.
So if anyone needs to train for polar plunge, definitely hit up Justice. He'll have you good and ready for it. So my next question is, what clubs and professional organizations are you a part of or advise that allow you to connect with other students, staff, and faculty of color?
I am currently a active brother of Epsilon Chi Nu Fraternity Incorporated. It is the first Native American fraternity in the U.S., and it was founded here in ECU in 1996. The best thing about being a part of that fraternity is getting to connect with other brothers who may or may not have Native heritage, but still share that same passion and love for spreading cultural awareness about Native Americans.
So for me, currently I'm a part of ECU Ambassadors, and then I work with orientation. I have been a part of other things in the past, but due to academics and balancing my life, I had to drop those. So I would encourage other students to join ECU Ambassadors, just because that's probably one of a good, diverse and mixture of students that are on campus, as well as the different volunteer opportunities that we do. We do a lot of networking with different people and things like that. So that's actually how I got my first on-campus job, was through Ambassadors, and then off-campus was from Ambassadors. So they really help with networking and building up your involvement in volunteer hours on campus. And you literally never know who you're going to meet. One day I was working an event for the Hardball, and then next thing I know, I'm sitting beside I think she's the head of the accounting department for Joyner Library or something like that. So it really puts you in a place where you don't know who you're going to meet, but you have on a purple polo and khakis and everyone wants to talk to you. So it's amazing.
For me, being the associate director for the Doing Right Cultural Center, I get the chance and the amazing opportunity to work with a lot of our cultural orgs. And so we have some amazing opportunities for folks to get to know them. So we have every August, for the first day of class, we have our Welcome Back kickoff. It's going to look a little different this year, but it's still happening. And it's a chance to interact with student orgs, other pirates, have some music. It'll be virtual this year, but we're still planning to do as best we can to replicate what it looks like. And then we have Multicultural Mirrors, which will take place August 3rd, and registration is still open. Kind of a cultural orientation that kind of helps acclimate students once they get on campus, to help them know each other and kind of build connections with each other, and as well as be able to ask more in-depth questions because it's a smaller group. So we're really excited for that program. And if you're still interested, or if you're interested, it is available. The registration is on our website.
Due to the nature of my job, I'm usually in the center a lot, but as time progresses, I'll definitely find myself, being more involved on campus. And just like I said last week, just being present amongst students, especially our organizations for students of color. I think it's very important for them to know that there are staff and faculty on campus that support them and their initiatives. So that's kind of my stance right now, but I'm definitely trying to hold it down in the counseling center for our students of color.
My next question is, what obstacles have you faced as a student or staff member of color? And this is not exclusive to ECU. It could have been anywhere throughout your educational or professional journey.
Won't say it was here at ECU because I didn't graduate from ECU, But I know something that I experienced having gone with both my degrees from predominantly white institutions was in some of my classes that sense of isolation. Because sometimes, depending on the course, you may be the only person in class that is a person of color, or a visible person of color, let me say that. And the expectation that you're supposed to speak for everybody. So I will say that was a challenge. Um, and it took me about to my sophomore year to recognize that I can't nor will I speak for everybody. And so if you're asking a question, you're asking me specifically the question.
So for me, it's always been that like mixed girl stereotypes and stigmas that everyone always has, like whether or like anything that I do or say is always, oh, she's acting white, oh, now she wants to act black. And I've always like been the person to be like, so tell me how to act, how I'm supposed to act, like educate me since you know everything. But I can actually say, like, in my college experience, I haven't had like anything directly towards me that like, felt like it was like racism, or if it was like somebody just being like, being ignorant, I should kind of, that's bad choice of words, but in that sense. So I'm actually like happy that I kind of like left that whole idea that people had, like, this mixed girl's supposed to do this, mixed girl's supposed to do that, and like, high school and whatnot. But I do see like other people, like they do have, that like problem and issue in everyday life. And that's something that's like, wow, like, why are you going through this and I've never experienced it? Like, let's talk about this, educate me on like what's really going on and things like that. So I will say that I'm glad that I can have those conversations with people on campus and like in my friend groups and whatnot. And that's pretty much how it's been since I've been in college.
I would say, reflecting on undergrad, I did attend a PWI. Just having to work harder than the other person, or feeling as though you had to work 10 times harder to show my value or my worth, or to at least feel accomplished. Um, so I really experienced that a whole lot, and I experienced that professionally, at other jobs or places of employment, where you just feel like, man, I remember I got this promotion at a job, and I would go to work early and stay late just because I felt like I needed to be on my A game. I just felt like I had to work so much harder. And I saw people leaving at 4:59, and I was like, no, I have to stay and work hard. I have to be even more polished just as a Black woman, and usually being the minority in the room of being the only one. I would say that those have been some difficult moments that I've had that have happened more than once, as well.
I think I'm kind of adding on to what everyone else had said as far as the stereotypes and working hard and all that is concerned. I can't personally say that I encountered something like that, but seeing the different microaggressions and stereotypes from all sorts of backgrounds, especially ones that I feel like that I'm deeply connected with, it kind of did take a toll on my mental health a little bit during my freshman year of college. But as the year went on, and I realized, there's some things that's just beyond my control and I can't fix. It kind of not necessarily made me feel better, but it kind of made me more open-minded about, I can't change how somebody thinks, or, I can't change what somebody says.
So, in overcoming these obstacles, what are some of the places on campus that you define as your personal safe spaces?
I'm just going to toot my own horn. The Donia Ray Cultural Center is a great space where we invite all students to come and be holistically themselves. We have prayer and meditation space for those who choose to utilize it, a lactation space for those who need, our art gallery. We have computer stations and a reading nook. So we have a space that we've created and curated just for students. So please utilize the space as we created it with you in mind.
So like for me, I know like when I stayed on campus, like I would, if I ever got like to a place where like I was stressed or I needed to like vent or anything like that, I would just, it didn't matter what time of day it was, I would go on the mall and just sit by the cupola and like call my mom and just like vent my heart out. I know so many people have probably seen me like, what is wrong with that girl? But my mama knew I was good. Um, but I think like moving off campus, I have like came into the counseling center a couple of times and like had conversations that really like made me feel better. Or Dr. Roder, who's our dean of students, she's also the advisor for ambassadors. I will literally just say like send her a quick email or a text and say, "Hey, Dr. Roder, I need to vent." And she was always like, open arms, and she'll let me come talk to her, or she'll say, "I'll see you before the meeting," things like that. But she always like makes time to have a conversation.
I'd say for me, anywhere on campus that I could like move around and like just like try to focus on something other than what I might be struggling with has helped a lot, especially since I'm a huge fan of music. And I don't know if a lot of people know, but music can do either one thing. So it can either lift you up or bring you down. And uh, just walking around campus and having those earbuds in my ears and just not necessarily hearing the music, but like feeling it. It's one, it's calmed my spirit, and two, it's helped me see things in a whole different perspective.
I will say I have some great coworkers. They're just wonderful, and we've created like this little family. And there are other individuals across campus that have shown themselves very friendly that I know I could go to if I needed. And I will echo you all sentiments. ECU has like little pockets of safe spaces across campus. You just gotta find it. And I love going outside and just eating or taking a walk. And once you find your spot, I know for me, I'm like, I'm headed there every day or every other day. And I'm like, man, somebody's there today. So I really do try to take advantage of those quiet places on campus and just to kind of get away, disconnect, and then be prepared to connect again when it's time to go back in the office.
How do each of you actually work to foster an inclusive environment on campus? And Sean, if you also want to go over with everyone the difference between diversity and inclusions, that way for people watching that they'll be able to recognize the difference.
So I'll answer the vocabulary question first. So diversity kind of takes stock of who's in the room. Is basically like a census. It takes stock, counts who's there. Inclusion asks not only who's in the room, but who's not participating and what are the barriers that's stopping them from being able to participate. And social justice actively works to remove those barriers so that everyone can be included and feel safe in doing so. And to the first question, how do I actively do that? I would say through the programs that we offer in our office, the fact that we have an open door policy, our social media, we always work to be informative, educational, and sometimes funny through the things that we post. I think that we're just a resource. How I see our office is that we're a resource that's here for students. Yes, we provide education, enlightenment, cultural celebration, academic enrichment. And yes, some of those programs are very scheduled. but we're always open and willing to hear what you need to create something that we may be missing. So I would say that's how we do that, is we are open and we listen, so we can make sure that every pirate has what they need to feel invited, welcomed, and that they have a sense of belonging on campus.
I think I'm kind of adding on to what I mentioned before is what I like to do is I like to try to keep an open mind about one, not every person is going to have the purest intentions when it comes to addressing certain people. And realistically, the best thing you can do is, like I said, have an open mind. And for those who do see you for who you are, or for those that you might see differently, there's always a story, there's always a background. It's like they all say, don't judge a book by its cover. Always open the book and read the story. So it's always good just to have that open mind and, have that perspective of, the way you see them might not be the same way they see you.
I definitely like picking up where Justice was. It's like, it's just by starting that conversation with someone. Like, you can't just look at someone and say, oh, I'm not going to talk to that person because they're giving me bad vibes, or, this person doesn't look like me, or this person doesn't, they have something on their book bag that I don't agree with, or anything like that. And that's also another reason why I wanted to become an orientation assistant, because that's, to me, being an OA is like I'm meeting like a big number of people coming on campus, and getting an idea of like who different individuals are, and being able to help them and point them in the direction of like where you can fit in on campus, or like where this can be your safe place on campus. Oh, you're interested in this, or you like this, you come from this background, check out these things on campus. And it just like makes me feel so good that ECU does have all these resources and environments for it's a place for everyone on campus. So that's just like, yeah, one of the big things I really like about ECU, and how I feel that like I kind of start like that welcoming process for new students and things like that.
I think in the counseling center, we really try to make everyone feel welcome when they walk through that door. And I really believe that our director and administrators are trying to be intentional about making sure the staff reflects the student population. And we're really working hard on creating a diversity of groups and content that we produce. And I know that because I'm now behind the scenes, and it's been a very exciting journey, just to make sure that every student that reaches out to our center sees us on the website or et cetera. By the way, check out our new website. Can really just see like, wow, they are really for all students at ECU, and anyone is welcome to come by and receive services or allow us to help them get connected to the right resources on campus. And I think that that's so important, because we might not have what a student needs, but man, if we can connect them to the right resource on campus, to me, that's even better, because there are a lot of offices on campus that offer so much in regards to programming and other staff and faculty members that could benefit, students of color, but we just gotta know those resources so we can point them in the right direction.
My next question is involving mentorship. So, who is somebody on ECU's campus that has served as a confidant for you or as a mentor?
That's kind of like a tricky question, because like I like so many people. I don't have just one. But I can say like my main go-tos would have to be like my ambassador family. And then like Miss Karen and Miss Corey. If I'm like walking past Menden and I'm having a rough day, I'll definitely go in there and talk to them. It's just like mainly like those that I've connected with through like my clubs and organizations or like my jobs and things like that, those are the main people that I've gotten close with and been able to like have conversations depending on, you know, what it is. I'll like pick a person that I wanted to talk to type thing. But I feel like I've been able to make like a nice connection of people that I can reach out to whenever I need.
Yeah, it's a pretty tricky question, like Shyla said. But for me, I would say my fraternity brothers have been my biggest go-to and my biggest mentors. Even though I've only been a member for about 3 months now, you know, I can go to my brothers about anything and it'd be like I've known them my whole life. And the best thing about having that connection, whether you're interested in Greek life or not, is that deep relationship that you not only develop professionally but also personally as well. Um, one of my brothers, who's also the founding chief for our fraternity, I've only met him one time, and he's made me feel like I've known him forever. And with a phone call away, I could talk to him about any and everything pertaining to personal life or about ECU. So I would definitely say my fraternity brothers.
I would say Terrence in my office, he has just really been he's associate director of the center. He's a gosh, he's such a great role model, and he's sharpening me, you know, really just making me a better clinician. And he's been at ECU for a very long time, and he is not shy in regards to just making sure that I know everything that I possibly can in regards to mental health with students in higher ed. And I also say my coworker Maya, like when I set foot on campus, she was like, let's go. And every opportunity, every program that I could attend with her, she was like, come on, and just trying to introduce me to people and just emailing individuals saying, hey, we have a new staff counselor, and just trying to just show me the ropes. And I just really appreciate her just kind of laying the path, you know, for me and not being selfish with her information and relationships she has on campus.
For me, it would be my assistant director, Marissa James, who was there before me, so she was able to really give me some history. And Dr. Lathan Turner, who's actually in student transitions, who at one point was the director of my office. So they've been really great about providing me with the history of ECU and the history of our office. So those are my two go-tos.
And my final question today is, if you could offer a new student one piece of advice, what would it be and why?
Right off the bat, be open to change. Because 9 times out of 10, your plans will change when you come to college. Believe me, I'm pretty sure Shyla can agree with me. I'm pretty sure everyone on this panel can agree with me when I say your plans will change. Your interests may change. You know, college is a great time to learn more about who you are and what you want to do. So definitely be open to change, and when you're being open, be sure to be open-minded about it. Like I know I'm stubborn. It was very, very hard for me to decide to change my major, but I knew it was for the better. So definitely be open-minded and be ready to change.
So my advice is gonna piggyback off of Justice's because as he started talking, I had to change my answer. Um, I would say while being open-minded, also remember that you have to be patient and everything will fall into place eventually. It may not be happening as soon as you want it to, or you may feel that this class is going to be the worst class of your life. But if you be patient and you take the initiative to get one thing done at a time, everything will fall into place. I promise you. I'm still working on that myself, so I need to take my own advice. But if you can hear it from me and take it sooner than I am, that is perfect. But it's just all about getting used to your new environment. And really, when people say college is about finding yourself, that is 100% true because I can definitely say that in a good way, in a positive way, I have grown so much in the few years that I have been at ECU. And it's all been because of me taking that step when I felt uncomfortable or asking questions when I was uncertain or just simply like having to say, woosah, and breathe for a minute. It's definitely been an experience, but I don't think I would change it for anything.
To follow up with that, I would say be ready to commit to being a lifelong learner. You will constantly learn something new about yourself, new about others, and it may change your worldview of what you've known, whether it's that missing information that was not in your high school textbook, that you learn in a college course, or you meet someone whose background is different than yours. You'll always have something to learn, and sometimes from the most surprising places. So be willing and be open to being a lifelong learner.
I would agree with everyone. And I would say, you know, with us going into this semester being a little bit different, I'm sure it's not your average freshman year experience, but take advantage of any opportunity to just get involved. A lot of things will be virtual this semester, but do it scared. You know, some people are introverts. Just try it out and see. And just like, is it Shyla? Did I say that right? When you get involved with something, you realize like the gifts you had inside that you didn't even know existed. You probably wouldn't have known that it existed if you never, you know, decided to get a part to join an organization or just attend a program. So don't judge a book by its cover. Just get involved, and college will just begin to just unfold right before your eyes. Like throw the plan out the door, throw the 4-year plan out the door. It may or may not happen in 4 years. Who knows? But just enjoy the process and enjoy that period or this journey of becoming.
Definitely believe in yourself, ECU 24, because everyone here and everyone that you're going to come into contact with on campus already believes in you. So thank you so much for joining us today. As a reminder, the session has been recorded and an archived copy of this recording will be available on the official ECU YouTube channel as soon as we are able to close caption the session. And we hope to see you all tomorrow for the SGA Shipmates event starting at 11 a.m. And thank you all very much and have a great evening.